In today's lesson, we're going to have a look at completing and interpreting two-way tables. Two-way tables give us a way of representing data when there's two different variables. In the example that's being displayed on the screen, one variable is the gender of the student, and the second variable is the type of study that the student chose. You need to be careful when completing a two-way table. Sometimes there's bits of information that you can't complete straight away. In our example, we can't actually find men who did humanities or men who did arts until we have some of the other bits of information completed. Let's have a look at how we could complete this two-way table. Starting at the top, I know that the total for the amount of women is 73. I also know that 28 women did sciences and 25 did art. That means the remaining amount did humanities. If I subtract 28 and 25 away from 73, I'm left with 20 women. That means that 20 did humanities. Next, if I have a look at the left hand side at people who did sciences, I know that there was 41 people in total who chose that. 28 of these were women. So if I take 28 away from 41, that means that there's 13 left over that were men. Doing the same thing for humanities, I can see that 57 people chose this in total and 20 were women. So taking 20 away from 57, I get 37 males who did humanities. Again, if I look at the total, I know that there was 153 people in total, 73 of which were women. If I take 73 away from 53, I get 80, which means that there were 80 men in total. At this point, there's a couple of different ways that we can complete our table. I'm going to start off by looking at the total row at the bottom. I know that there was 153 in total, 41 of these did a science, 57 chose humanities, and if I take 41 and 57 away from 153, I'm left with 55. That means that 55 students chose to do an art. Lastly, to find the number of men who did art, I can take the total number of people that chose this, which is 55, and subtract 25 from it. That's the number of women who chose art. 55 take away 25 leaves me with 30, meaning 30 men chose an art in total. Once you've completed your two-way table, you may be asked to interpret it and answer some questions. There are three examples of this at the bottom. The first question asks how many science students are there. If I look in the science column, I can see that there's 41 students in total, so my answer is 41. The second question asks how many women study science. Again, looking at my science column and going down to women, I can see that there's 28 in total. So my answer is 28. The last question asks what fraction of the students studied art. If I go to the arts column, I can see that there's 55 students in total that chose this. That means that the top part of my fraction is going to be 55. I also know that there's 153 students in total. I can therefore say that the fraction is 55 out of the 153 students in total. We can check our answers to make sure we've got all of this right. Your first task is to complete the MyMaths task on two-way tables so you can demonstrate you understand how to complete and interpret them. Remember that the first login on MyMaths is always the school login, that's Uppingham and Acute. You then need to log into your portal, and if you've forgotten the details to this, I've attached them in the resources to help you section on Show My Homework. You should aim to get at least 70% on this task so you can retry it as many times as you need to improve your score. If you've completed the task and it's disappeared from your homework list but you want to try it again, you can find it in the Results tab on the left side when you're logged into your portal. Please note that this is only the first task and there is a second part to this video which links two-way tables to probability that you also need to look at. This MyMaths task shouldn't take you too long to complete. Please pause the video now and have a go at it, and then come back for the second part of the video once you've completed the task. In this second part of the video, we're going to look at how to calculate probabilities from two-way tables. In the examples that we're looking at, 70 students from years 10 and 11 were asked what sport they played in their last PE lesson, and the data is showed in the two-way table. In this first part, we're asked if a student is chosen at random, what is the probability that they're in year 11? Looking at my table, I can see that in total 36 year 11s were asked, so it's going to be 36 out of however many students were asked in total, that's 70. That would be my probability. Obviously this answer can be simplified if we divide the top and bottom by 2, so I could also say 18 out of 35. Both of those answers would be correct, but 18 over 35 is slightly simpler and slightly better. In this next part, I'm asked if a student is chosen at random, what is the probability that they are a year 10 that chose badminton? Again, looking at my table, I can see that there were 2 year 10s that chose badminton, so this is going to be 2 out of all of the people that were asked in total, which is 70. Again, I can simplify this answer by dividing the top and bottom by 2, which would give me 1 over 35. Again, both of these answers are fine, but 1 over 35 is slightly better because it's been simplified. In this third part, it says a student is chosen at random from year 11. That means my probability is now going to be out of 36 because we're only focusing on year 11 students. We're asked what is the probability that they chose football. Looking in my table, I can see that there were 14 year 11 students that chose football, so the probability would be 14 out of the 36 year 11s in total. Look how in this instance that the denominator of our probability has changed because we're not looking at the total group, we're looking at a specific year. Again, we can simplify the probability that we've got by dividing the top and bottom by 2. So that would be 7 over 18. Again, both of these answers are fine, but 7 over 18 is slightly better. Similar to the last question, they might focus on a specific group but word it slightly differently in the question. So this time it says a student is chosen at random, what is the probability that they chose rugby given that they're in year 10? The last part suggests that we're only looking at year 10 students, so this time the probability is going to be out of 34. Looking in my table, I can see that there were 14 year 10 students that chose rugby, and that is out of 34 year 10 students in total. Again, I can simplify by dividing the top and bottom by 2, which gives me 7 over 17. Both answers are correct, but 7 over 17 is slightly better. So your final task is to complete the following worksheet on two-way tables and probability. The full worksheet has been attached to Show My Homework, so you have to download it to get all of the questions. You need to complete each of the two-way tables and answer a few probability questions about them. Please pause the video now and have a go at the worksheet, and when you're done you can check the answers against those that have been posted on Show My Homework. When you're happy that you've done your best, take a photo of your work and upload it to Show My Homework so I can see how you've got on. If you are struggling to complete some of the work from today's lesson, then please do not hesitate to get in touch via comment on Show My Homework. I'll try to make myself as available as possible and get a reply to you as quickly as I can. If the issue requires a little bit more input from myself, I might ask to arrange a time to meet on Teams where I can give you some personalised help with that specific problem.